All right, how about another state of the collection video? This is my Phil Harvey state of the collection. There's not a lot. It'll be a quick video, but stay tuned. I love it. So this is the Gladius. This was the first one that I got from Phil, and I bought this used from my friend 50 Shades of Slash. He is one of the only people I know that can just thumb open it, thumb unlock it. I cannot. My thumb is not strong enough. He is also one of the only people that makes this look like a normal sized knife in his hand. Okay. This is, yes, it gets its name from the Gladius sword of the Roman times. And it's basically Phil's take on a folding Roman sword. I think it's super cool. I don't carry it often. It really does need to go back to Phil for sharpening and just kind of a spa day. There's actually, as I'm just now noticing, a little bit of surface rust here. I'm probably not taking care of it the way I should in the drawer that it lives, but you know, what are you going to do? So I have to use the claw method to unlock it and close it. Super cool knife. It is a pocket full. Okay, but that was my first one. I believe my second was the Peacemaker. Now, the Peacemaker I did get from Phil directly. Phil and I have talked for many years before I got this, just as friends and commented on Facebook posts and things like that, right? And I told him that I definitely wanted a Peacemaker at some point. It's a folding shovel, people say. I post pictures, and it's very polarizing, very controversial knife every time I post a picture of it. A lot of people say, how did you break the tip off? That's worthless. That's so impractical. It's useless. What's the point? You just waste money. All of these things, right? Those things may possibly be all true, but it's my money. I can spend it how I want, and I wanted to spend it on this. Just over 2 pounds. I think it's just an incredible feat of craftsmanship. Okay. Hand rub satin finish on this huge, massive chunk at like 3/8 blade thickness, massive chunk of D2. All of these knives are out of D2, titanium scales. They run on bearings, big pivots. Just the craftsmanship to get this without any scratches. I mean, it's kind of beat up now as we look at it. I've used it. I've taken some videos. There's some blade damage here up the front. I've cut some tree stumps in my backyard just for videos and photo shoots and stuff like that. So it's got a little bit of wear on it. Again, the reason why it needs to go back to Phil for a spa. Orange peel on the scales. There's maker's mark on the inside. This thing is just massive. It's worth every penny. To me, it might not be worth it to you. But when I carry this around a show and people see this close to 6-inch clip sticking out of my pocket, and me walking a little bit cockeyed because it's 2+ pounds in my pocket, everybody asks, what's in your pocket? So it's a really good conversation starter, especially at a knife show. It's just fantastic. And you can't pay for that type of conversation starter. So I love it for that reason alone. All right. Next up is the War Crime. This is actually thicker blade stock than the Peacemaker. This is a flipper, and the flipper tab works with a little bit of wrist. This thing is just crazy. And let me show you the blade and why it is so crazy. So it's got 4 bevels. 1, 2, 3, and 4. To get the geometry right, to build this with no CNC, it's all handmade on drill press and hand mills and things like that, is just again a feat of craftsmanship. Now, is this super comfortable on the backspacer? Well, no, these are not comfortable knives to use. The Gladius is relatively easy to use. These, one, you're not going to really use, you're not using these, okay? These are collection pieces. I don't want to call them safe queens, but you're never really going to carry this, and it is a bit awkward and uncomfortable. You're not really on the backspacer. No matter how you carry this, you're really not grabbing the gear pattern of the backspacer, okay? If you were to choke down, I guess, and hold it back here, yeah, sure. But even if you are smacking wood or whatnot, like I've done with the Peacemaker, it's uncomfortable afterwards, okay? This one, I believe, is almost 3/4 of an inch of blade thickness. It's crazy, but I had to have it. We listen, but we do not judge. And then last but not least, he did this, I think it's a Kirdashi style fixed blade. He made a few of these. Again, D2 that probably needs some oil and a little bit of love just sitting in my drawer. He did a few. He reached out, asked me if I wanted one. I said, abso-freaking-lutely. This thing is an absolute beast for cutting. That straight edge, it's just, this is a total workhorse. My other buddy John got one and had him put some titanium scales so that it was a little bit easier to grab and hold. That would have been cool. That would have been a great idea. Another thing that would be cool is maybe to wrap this in paracord even to give you a little more grip or something. There's a lot of options. This is just a very functional utility blade. And these were not very expensive. I think it was like $100 or something, plus $20 for shipping. Like it was 100 and something, barely $100. So I had to get it. I like Phil as a human, as a person. I like what he does. He works and lives on a working ranch. And if you know anything about ranchers and ranch life, you've got to make your own tools. When something breaks on the farm, you just need to fix it. So that experience growing up and doing that led him into making knives because he can adapt and make what's needed. And it's fascinating to watch him and talk with him about the things that he's made so that he can make the knife. He has to make fixtures. He has to make tools so that he can then make these tools. It's just amazing to me. I am not that creative. I do not generally create things like this from nothing, even in my day job and in life. So like, it's special to me. These are very special knives to me to have in my collection just for what they are. So I'll put a playlist up here of my Phil Harveys so you can get more details on all of these if you like. And then there's some other ones I've been able to film that I don't own. Friends have lent in and things like that. There are some other variations, specifically of the Peacemaker. You're going to want to check out that. It's called The Abomination. You're going to want to check that out.